They are back on my Ficus Benjamina Fusion that's been developing really well over the last couple of years. This was originally 3 separate trees, but they've sort of all melted into this one tree. The only issue I have is the pot that's in is way too small. You'll see when I lift it up, the roots are pouring out the bottom. There's also developed a lot of aerial roots. I'm sure that's more to do with the humidity of the air, but I imagine the small pot is helping a bit too. I had done some mild styling on it, which really means I just wired a few main branches into position. But here at the start of the year, I need to remove that wire. The branches have set in place. I need to get it all off before it starts growing again in spring and cutting in and causing damage. Although this is not the correct technique to use to remove wire, but it'll be fine. You just need to be very careful, as you can clearly see stuff getting bent all over the place here. So it's very easy to damage the branch when you remove wire like this. In March there's not a lot going on. It's just a matter of waiting now for it to start growing again. It does live inside under the grow light, but I usually turn it down quite a lot over the winter, just to make things seem a little more natural and give everything a little break. So here I'll be slowly cranking up the daily levels, and it should start growing again at full speed soon. But you can see here the main structure of the tree looks pretty good. I think this has a lot of potential, it just needs more time to fully develop. Like I already said, the big issue is the pot. Well, it's more a lack of space that's the issue. I can easily get a bigger pot, but I don't think I can fit it in the grow tent. It's very cramped in there, and a lot of trees are already growing into each other. It's starting to get to the point where it's going to become detrimental. So I might have to take a few trees out and make some space. But I also kind of need to keep them there as they need the light. See, I'll have to work out what I'm going to do with that. Anyway, in June it doesn't look like it's doing much. That's okay. I'm going to repot it soon, and then I'll really get going. Most trees should be repotted in spring, but it's fine to do a ficus over the summer. July is the time for the repot, and I can try and free up some space in the pot, because by the look and feel of it, it's very compact, and that will be making it difficult for the water to get in. So this tree might be slightly underwatered, which is not ideal. You can see it just looks tight. It's really pushing into the plastic. And the underside is an absolute doormat of roots growing out there. There's also a lot of moss growing all over the place and on the aerial roots in the trunk, so it's going to take a while to sort out. I think there'll be a lot of raking out today. I just started by trying to remove some of this moss. It doesn't look like I'm doing much here. Really, I'm just being very careful. There's a lot of roots on the surface and in and around the moss, so I don't want to damage any of those. So I just have to do it little by little, very gently. Looks like I've hardly removed anything, but that took ages. Anyway, I'm going to try and get out of this pot, which means I need to remove these roots from the bottom. It's going to be very difficult to get it out with those attached. These roots are not going to be needed, so it's fine just to hack them clean off. And they really just come off as one big mat. Although there is still a lot of thicker roots creeping through the holes, so I just need to hack some of those back to help loosen things up. Then it came out pretty easily, but to be fair, it is an ice cream pot, so the plastic is pretty flexible. You can see here it looks like a pretty dense block of roots, so it's going to take some while to rake out. But after a while I was left with this. I think most of the soil is out from this side, and it's a decent root spread. I have been working on it for the last few years. I can start to untangle the aerial roots and see what's actually going on and if they're worth keeping or whatnot. There's still a lot of raking left to do. And here we are after. I finally got everything off and untangled. Now I have to work out what to keep and what to remove, but like I said, it's pretty good, especially for a ficus which often has really thick parsnip-like roots, and luckily there isn't any of those. You will see I do remove a lot of the arrow roots. A lot of them are quite straight and thick and nothing really interesting at the end. Annoyingly, they tend to thicken up the upper branches, which is great, but then the lower branches don't get the same amount of power, so it can unbalance things if I leave them. So while they look super cool, they're not helping the tree right now. But I'm sure more will grow over time. I can develop them when I need them. Like this one, it's just straight and boring. It wasn't easy to work out what to keep, and here's my remove pile, so I was not kind. And here we are after. So it's drastically reduced. But there's still 1 or 2 aerial roots. But my main concern at the minute is just the main root ball, and it's looking alright. And then I just pot it back up in the same pot, even though I don't want to. I think I can get away with it for now, but I think in 2024 I might need a change. For now there's enough space for it to grow into, but long term, if I want it to really develop and have the aerial roots and the branching it needs something a little wider. It looks fine in August. It looks a little better now a lot of those roots are removed. You can see it's putting a lot of top growth in September. Giving it some space in the pot has really allowed it to explode growth. I'd also realised it's been a long time since I gave you a good look at the trunk. This was 3 trees, and you can see where it has fused. It's not so easy to get in here and show you, but you can kind of see a few vertical lines that kind of look like scars. That's where it fused, but I think that will fade with time. There are some spots above and below that really blended in, and you might not realise this was originally a couple of trees. The aerial roots and some branches also help block things, so I think with some time you'll never know this was a fusion. It's looking alright in October, but you notice the roots are coming out the bottom again. Ficuses grow roots like crazy. There's also plenty of new aerial roots too. Maybe not as crazy as last year, but there's still plenty of them. I think it needs a prune, but I'll just wait until just before spring to do that. It'll be fine just sitting here like this over winter. There's not really going to be much happening now until spring anyway. There's no real change in December, but it's done well this year considering it's in a small pot. But we'll have to think about what to do about that going forward. And here we are now, so it's doing well. I'm very happy with this tree's progress so far, and hopefully it continues that way. Thanks for watching, see you next time.